If you think all motor oils do the same job, what I'm about to show you will change everything. I ran the exact same engine, same driving conditions, same maintenance schedule, but rotated between 5 different oil brands over 150,000 miles. And the results? One oil kept the engine looking factory new inside, cam lobes mirror polished, 0 deposits, spotless. Another caused sludge buildup so bad the oil pickup screen was half clogged, carbon-packed piston rings, and cam lobe scoring visible to the naked eye. By the end of this video, you'll know which oil really protects and which ones are just expensive marketing. Because after testing these 5 oil brands through cold starts, highway heat, stop-and-go traffic, and everything in between, there was only one clear winner. And it's not the one sitting on every shelf at Walmart. Real engine, real conditions, real data. This wasn't some 15-minute bench test or sponsored comparison. This was a 5-year endurance experiment using a 2018 Honda Civic 1.5-liter turbo engine, the same engine in millions of cars on the road right now. The rules were simple. Every 30,000 miles, switch to a new brand of full synthetic oil. Keep oil changes consistent at 7,500-mile intervals, Honda's spec. Use OEM Honda filters every time. Send oil samples to Blackstone Laboratories for wear metal analysis. Drive in real-world conditions, cold Minnesota winters, Arizona summer heat, highway commutes, city traffic, occasional towing. The oils tested in order: Castrol Edge Advanced Full Synthetic 0W20, Valvoline Advanced Full Synthetic 0W20, Mobil 1 Extended Performance 0W20, Pennzoil Ultra Platinum 0W20, Liqui Moly Leichtlauf High-Tech 0W20. Every 7,500 miles, we pulled oil samples and sent them to Blackstone for analysis. Iron, aluminum, chromium, copper, fuel dilution, viscosity breakdown, total base number. After 150,000 miles, the engine was completely torn down by a master tech with 31 years of experience rebuilding engines. What we found inside told the whole story. Castrol Edge, the shaky start. We started with Castrol Edge 0W20, a popular choice at dealerships across America. It's built on Group 3 base oils with what Castrol calls titanium fluid strength technology, marketing speak for friction modifiers designed to reduce wear. For the first 15,000 miles, everything seemed fine. Smooth cold starts, clean idle, stable fuel economy around 34 miles per gallon. But by 20,000 miles, we started noticing things. The oil darkened rapidly after only 4,000 miles. Not a little brown, dark brown, almost black. That's oxidation. The valve cover, when we pulled it to inspect, showed light amber varnish forming around the baffles and PCV valve area. At 30,000 miles, we sent the final Castrol sample to Blackstone. The report came back concerning. Iron at 26 parts per million. That's cylinder wall and radius in ring wear. For context, anything above 20 parts per million is elevated for a modern engine. Aluminum at 14 parts per million, bearing and piston wear. Viscosity had thickened by 8% from new, meaning the oil was oxidizing and losing its flow properties. When we drained it at 30,000 miles, it came out thick and dark. One mechanic said, "This looks like 10,000 mile oil, not 7,500. The inside of the oil pan had light sludge deposits starting to form. Not terrible, but not clean. Verdict on Castrol: good cold start protection, but struggles with high temperature stability and long-term cleanliness. Fine for short commutes in mild climates, but not ideal if you're keeping your car past 100,000 miles or driving in heat. Valvoline Advanced, the budget surprise. Next up, Valvoline Advanced, be it full synthetic 0W20. The budget option most people overlook because they assume cheap means bad. Valvoline uses a molybdenum-rich additive package which helps reduce friction. At $6 per quart versus $9 for Mobil 1, I wasn't expecting much. But within the first 10,000 miles on Valvoline, something interesting happened. The engine actually got quieter. The valve train noise that had been present with Castrol smoothed out. Oil stayed cleaner longer, still amber at 5,000 miles instead of turning dark brown. By 60,000 total miles, 30,000 on Valvoline, Blackstone's analysis showed solid results. Iron at 18 parts per million, significantly lower than Castrol. Aluminum at 9 parts per million, excellent. Viscosity stayed within 4% of new, much better oxidation resistance than Castrol. But here's where Valvoline showed its limits. After 6,000 miles into each interval, the oil started to shear down, meaning it was getting thinner under heat and pressure. By 7,500 miles, viscosity loss was 11%, still within SAE spec, but noticeably thinner. When we pulled the valve cover at 60,000 miles, it looked decent. Some light amber tinting, but no actual deposits or sludge. The timing chain area was clean. Piston rings, when we scoped them with a borescope, showed minimal carbon. For a budget oil, Valvoline was punching way above its weight class. One mechanic mechanic said, "This is what good chemistry looks like without the marketing budget." Verdict on Valvoline: excellent value for money, good wear protection and cleanliness. Limited high heat stability for extended drains, but perfect for drivers who change oil every 5,000 to 7,500 miles on time. Outperforms oils that cost 50% more. Mobil 1 Extended Performance, the trusted name. Then came the brand everyone knows. Mobil 1 Extended Performance 0W20, the oil trusted by millions, used as factory fill in Corvettes, recommended by mechanics everywhere. Mobil 1 claims 20,000 mile protection with its advanced additive package. We weren't testing extended drains, but we wanted to see how it performed at normal intervals. From 60,000 to 90,000 miles, the engine ran on Mobil 1, and honestly, it felt solid. Cold starts were crisp even at minus 10 degrees in Minnesota. Oil pressure stayed rock steady. Turbo spool felt smooth, but the Blackstone reports told a more nuanced story. At 67,500 miles, first sample, iron at 16 parts per million. Good, but not exceptional. Aluminum at 7 parts per million, excellent. Chromium at 4 parts per million, acceptable. Viscosity loss after 7,500 miles was 6%, better than Valvoline, not as stable as we'd hoped for a premium oil. By 90,000 miles, after 3 full drain cycles on Mobil 1, we pulled the valve cover. It looked good, not spotless, but good. Light golden tint on the metal, no sludge, no sticky deposits. The timing chain showed 0 stretch when measured. Chain guides looked healthy. The piston tops, when we scoped them, had light carbon, but nothing concerning. Oil control rings were moving freely. The oil pan was clean, with minimal residue. One thing we noticed during highway drives, oil temps stayed consistently cooler on Mobil 1 versus Castrol or Valvoline, proof that the film strength was preventing excessive friction heat. A mechanic who inspected the valve cover said, "Mobil 1 is like a Toyota, not fancy, not exciting, but it just works and keeps working." Verdict on Mobil 1: proven long-term reliability, excellent all-around performer, great timing chain protection, not the cleanest internally, but very stable under pressure and heat, a safe choice that delivers on its reputation. Pennzoil Ultra Platinum, the clean freak. At 90,000 miles, we switched to Pennzoil Ultra Platinum 0W20. This oil is different. It's made from natural gas using Shell's Pure Plus gas-to-liquid technology. The base stock is molecularly uniform, which resists oxidation better than crude oil-derived synthetic. Within the first 5,000 miles on Pennzoil, the change was dramatic. The engine got noticeably quieter. The valve train, which had some light ticking on Mobil 1, went completely silent. And when we checked the dipstick at 3,000 miles, the oil was still golden, not amber. Golden. At 97,500 miles, first Blackstone sample on Pennzoil, the numbers shocked us. Iron at 12 parts per million, a 25% drop from Mobil 1. Aluminum at 5 parts per million, lowest yet. Chromium at 2 parts per million, nearly perfect. Viscosity after 7,500 miles, only 3% loss. The oil was incredibly stable, and the wear metals proved it was cleaning. When an engine switches oils, you often see a spike in wear metals as the new detergents clean out deposits the old oil left. Pennzoil's numbers stayed low, meaning it was keeping everything suspended and flushed out. By 120,000 miles, 30,000 on Pennzoil, we did a mid-test inspection. Valve cover off, and 3 mechanics looked over at it and said the same thing. "This is the cleanest valve train I've seen at 120,000 miles. The metal was shining, not just clean, but polished. The cam lobes had a mirror finish. The timing chain area was spotless. 0 carbon, 0 varnish. When we dropped the oil pan, the pickup screen was completely clean, not a single particle of debris." The mechanic said, "Pennzoil's GTL base stock is legit. This isn't marketing. This is real chemistry." Verdict on Pennzoil: outstanding cleanliness and detergent power. Excellent thermal stability, low wear metals, perfect for modern direct injection and turbo engines that run hot and build carbon. Slightly more expensive than Mobil 1, but delivers visibly better results. Liqui Moly Leichtlauf, the final test. For the last 30,000 miles, from 120,000 to 150,000, we use Liqui Moly Leichtlauf High-Tech 0W20. This is the German oil nobody in America talks about because it's harder to find and costs $10 per quart. But after what we saw with Pennzoil, we wanted to test the highest end chemistry available. Liqui Moly uses PaO Group 4 and Ester Group 5 base stocks, the most expensive and stable synthetic base oils in the world. It also includes molybdenum disulfide, a friction modifier that bonds to metal surfaces. Immediately after the first oil change to Liqui Moly, the engine felt different, smoother, quieter, almost like it was running on less friction. At 127,500 miles, first Blackstone sample, the results were stunning. Iron at 8 parts per million. 8. That's nearly perfect for any engine, let alone one with 127,500 miles. Aluminum at 4 parts per million. Chromium at 1 part per million. Viscosity loss after 7,500 miles, 2%. 2%. The oil was barely breaking down. At 135,000 miles, we pulled samples after a torture test. 500-mile highway run through Arizona in July, ambient temps 110 degrees, sustained 80 miles per hour, oil temps in the turbo hitting 265 degrees. When we sent the sample to Blackstone, we expected elevated numbers. Instead, iron was still 9 parts per million. The oil didn't care about the heat. At 150,000 miles, final sample before teardown, the oil on the dipstick looked like it had 2,000 miles on it. Golden, clear, clean. When we drained it, the mechanic held up the drain pan and said, "I've been doing this 31 years. I've never seen oil this clean after 7,500 miles at 150,000 total miles. This looks brand new." The oil pan was spotless. The pickup screen looked unused. Zero debris, zero sludge, zero anything. One mechanic said, "Liqui Moly isn't just protecting the engine, it's preserving it." Verdict on Liqui Moly: best in class wear protection, exceptional thermal stability, unmatched cleanliness, perfect for high mileage engines, performance driving, or anyone who wants maximum engine life. Most expensive, but the results justify every penny. The complete teardown at 150,000 miles, what we found inside. After 5 years and 150,000 miles rotating through 5 different oils, we arrived at the moment of truth. Complete engine teardown. Every component photographed, measured, and inspected. Here's what we found. Component by component. Cylinder walls. Winner, Liqui Moly. The cylinder walls looked mirror polished. The factory crosshatch pattern was still visible, meaning minimal wear. Pennzoil was close behind. Extremely clean walls with no scoring. Mobil 1 showed light polishing but no damage. Valvoline had moderate wear, measurable but not dangerous. Castrol showed the most wear with faint vertical scratches indicating higher friction. The mechanic measured the bore with a micrometer. Liqui Moly sections measured within 0.0001 inches of factory spec. Castrol sections were 0.0004 inches over, still safe but showing wear. Pistons and rings, winner, tie between Liqui Moly and Pennzoil. Both kept piston crowns nearly carbon-free. The ring grooves were clean enough to see machining mark. Oil control rings moved freely with no sticking. Mobil 1 had light carbon, but nothing harmful. Valvoline showed moderate carbon on the piston crowns. Castrol had the most carbon with some deposits in the ring grooves. Not enough to cause consumption yet, but the start of future problems. Timing chain and guides. Winner, Mobil 1, and Liqui Moly tied. Both showed zero measurable stretch. The chain measured identical to new spec. The guides had minimal wear. Pennzoil was close with only 0.5 millimeter stretch, well within tolerance. Valvoline had 1 millimeter stretch, acceptable. Castrol had 1.8 millimeter stretch, the most of any oil but still safe. The mechanic said, "Mobil 1's reputation for timing chain protection is earned, but Liqui Moly matched it. Valve train and cam lobes. Winner Pennzoil, with Liqui Moly a hair behind. This is where Pennzoil's gas to liquid base stock really shined. The valve train was spotless. Cam lobes had a mirror finish with zero scoring, zero discoloration, zero staining. Liqui Moly was nearly identical. Mobil 1 showed a light golden tint, but no deposits. Valvoline had minor amber varnish. Castrol had the most varnish, especially around oil return passages. Oil pickup screen and pan winner, Liqui Moly and Pennzoil tied. Both pickup screens looked almost unused. Completely clean. No debris, no carbon particles. Mobil 1 had light residue but nothing concerning. Valvoline had moderate darkening. Castrol had visible debris accumulation. Not clogged, but definitely the dirtiest. Turbo bearings. Winner, Liqui Moly. The turbo bearings showed zero heat stress. Perfect bearing surfaces, no discoloration. Pennzoil was close with minimal wear. Mobil 1 showed light oxidation staining. Valvoline had moderate staining. Castrol showed heat stress with darker discoloration on bearing surfaces. Final ranking. Worst to best based on complete analysis. Number 5. Castrol Edge. Higher oxidation than competitors. Most varnish and deposits. Highest wear metals. Most timing chain stretch. Heaviest debris in oil pan. Not a bad oil for short intervals and mild driving, but not designed for longevity or high heat. Number 4. Valvoline Advanced. Solid budget performer that outperformed its price. Good wear protection. Decent cleanliness. Shears faster under heat, perfect for drivers who change oil every 5,000 to 7,500 miles on time and want to save money. Number 3. Mobil 1 Extended Performance. Proven workhorse that delivers consistent protection. Excellent timing chain protection. Moderate cleanliness. Very stable under heat and pressure. The safe choice that lives up to its reputation. Number 2. Pennzoil Ultra Platinum. The cleanest valve train in the entire test. Gas to liquid base stock delivers exceptional detergency. Low wear metals. Excellent thermal stability. Perfect for modern direct injection and turbo engines. Number 1. Liqui Moly Leichtlauf High Tech. Nothing came close. Lowest wear metals across 150,000 miles. Best thermal stability. Cleanest internal components. Engine looked half its actual mileage. Perfect for anyone who wants maximum engine life, performance cars, high mileage vehicles, or drivers keeping their car 200,000 plus miles. Over 150,000 miles, the difference was $160. Valvoline cost $900 total. Liqui Moly cost $1,060 total. You're arguing over $160 spread across 5 years. Meanwhile, the Castrol engine showed enough wear that by 200,000 miles, it would likely need work. The Liqui Moly engine will run another 150,000 miles easily. Choose chemistry. Choose the oil that actually protected. If this changed how you buy oil, subscribe. Because I'm testing transmission fluid next, and the results will shock you even more.